Hi guys, welcome back to the Mission Empowered podcast with me, your host Emily. I hope you are all doing fantastically well today, and I hope it's about to get a little bit better as always. I've got a feeling this episode is going to be short, sweet, and straight to the point because it is 7 p.m. on a Wednesday evening. Now, I normally record the podcast at 8 a.m. Wednesday morning, okay? But I have been recording a lot today. And then I had to get my steps in, and I was like, no, I still want to record the pod. Let's go home and do it. And, guys, I'm 35 weeks pregnant, 35 weeks pregnant, and I've just pressed record and I'm tired. I'm not even going to lie to you. You know me, I'm normally a one and done girl when I press record, but you know what? This is the second time I'm recording this because I just recorded it and I talked about alcohol. And I was like, hang on, I'm meant to be talking about cardio here, not alcohol. Right, so fingers crossed, short, sweet, and snappy and straight to the point. Let's go. Is cardio the biggest myth that we have been led to believe for fat loss? Good title, I think, in my opinion. Quite clickbaity. Got you to click it, didn't I, and listen to it. But it's gonna, hopefully by the end of this episode, you are going to be enlightened to why we don't use cardio as our hierarchy and fat loss tools. You'll notice I said why we don't use it as a hierarchy. It's not that we don't use it at all, because we do. It just comes way down the list than where you think it should. Okay, so let's start the episode with a positive. Cardiovascular training is very good for us, okay? And like I've said, I'm not here to diss cardio. I'm here to inform you of why we don't use it for fat loss. Benefits of cardiovascular training: improves our heart health, okay? Improves our lungs, improves our blood circulation, reduces risk of a hell of a lot of diseases, okay? Improves lifespan, longevity of life, helps your digestive system, great for mental health, great for physical health, gives us an endorphin. Babes, cardiovascular training is great, and there's room for it on your fitness plate. There should be, okay? We should be doing some sort of cardiovascular training, pushing our threshold, maybe a couple of times a week alongside like our weight training and stuff as well, okay? So there is room for it. The problem that we have in our society is that we relate cardio to fat loss. And I know this because a lot of the women that come and work with me, guess what they're doing? They're doing classes. And what do classes do? They push your heart rate, they make you sweat, they make you feel like you are working your ass off, therefore you're going to wake up with abs the next day, okay? This is the thing with cardio, is that it gives us that endorphin of, oh my God, I've worked so hard, buzzing, leaving, okay? Which is why I want you to do it, but I need you to be wanting to do it for the right reasons and not the wrong reasons of, I do 5 spin classes in a week. Why am I not dropping body fat? Why haven't my bum not toned? Why are my legs not shaping up, okay? And bearing in mind, girls, the reason I feel like I've got this, the reason I feel like I've got the audacity to come and do these podcast episodes about basically cardio for fat loss is because I've been there and I've done that. Okay. I've taught, I genuinely think one of my record weeks of teaching spin classes was like 18 spin classes in a week. 18 spin classes. No wonder I'm short. I've probably worn all my bloody kneecaps out, you know? I'm pretty sure it was never 20, I don't think, but I remember getting pretty close. Anyway, so I've done the spin. Aerobics, I used to teach loads of aerobics, so much so that I actually stress fractured the bones in my feet from teaching aerobics. Picture of health. Anyway, I don't want to, like I said, I don't want to darken the cardio things, but in the extreme, I've been there. And even when I was teaching all of that, I was never the skinny one. I never got insane fat loss results, and I would teach all these classes and then I would stay and train, bless me, and do like the cross trainer for half an hour, the Stairmaster for half an hour, but because my food was off, probably loads of other things were off, I was probably getting pissed all the time as well, but because everything else was off, I couldn't fathom what the fuck was wrong with me. I'm doing all this cardio, I'm sweating my bollocks off. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not getting anywhere. So I've been there and I've done that, and that's why I feel like I've got, and I've come out the other side and I do all the bits and bobs that I know to tell you now. So I want to highlight that the reason. Should we go straight into it? The reason cardio doesn't work for fat loss. You're gonna have to bear with me, so I might fluff my words up here a little bit. Let me just pull back from that statement a minute. So, what do we need when it comes to fat loss? We need to be in a calorie deficit. Okay, we need to be expending more calories than we are eating. Okay, so in black and white terms, if we're in a calorie deficit, then yes, you're going to lose weight. Okay, but here's the caveat, right? The likelihood is, and because I'm, very busy in my job, I know the likelihood is it's quite unsuccessful for people to not track their food or not think about their food and do loads of cardio and get the fat loss results that they want, because it's easier to go to a spin class 5 times a week and rock up to 1 hour than it is to track your food every day. I know that. So what would everyone rather do? They'd rather just go to the classes and not worry about the food. But that's why people don't achieve results on the majority. There is the minority, and this is what we need to focus on. There is the minority of people that maybe will do loads of cardio, I don't even want to say in shape, because I just think it's like overtraining, but like look a certain way, and all they do is cardio. Okay, so I'm not saying they're not out there. I'm talking about the majority of us, the majority of my clients. You girlies sign up to the Fit and Six, my one-to-one girls, the girls that are DMing me on Instagram telling me I go to these classes, multiple times a week. Why am I not getting results? Da, da, da. It's because you're not doing your food. Your food has got to be your main point of call when it comes to fat loss. End of story. And anybody else who tells you different or says, you don't need to do your food, just come to my boot camp 6 times a week, they haven't got a fucking clue. They're crap. Okay, I'm calling it. Because anybody who's got a bit of moral or a bit of education behind them will tell you food first, workout second. Okay, so, but we're digging into the cardio side. We're not even just talking about workout side, cardio side. Now, the reason that we do feel like cardio, we get that like sort of addictedness, especially to spinning. Everybody bloody loves spinning. Is because of the endorphin hit you get from it. Okay, cardiovascular training feels really good when we finished it, because we've done something hard, we've got a sweat on, our heart rate's up, our endorphins are flowing, our adrenaline's going, we're buzzing afterwards. That's addictive. And like I said, there is a place for that in our training, in our life, that we should be doing it, but we should be doing it for the reasons of, in what I stated at the beginning, we are improving our overall lifestyle by doing that. We're not doing it because we've burned 200 calories on our watch or whatever. I can't remember if I've touched on this or not. Let me just quickly touch on it. One of the worst things that you can do with training is track how many calories you're burning on your watch. Point blank, not accurate. There are only 2 things that you should be wearing your watch for. 1, so you're not late and it tells the time. And 2, as a step counter. That's it. You do not need your watch for anything else. Okay? It does not tell you accurate calories burned, no matter how much that watch costs you. Okay? I don't want to name names. There are cheapo watches. So this is a Huawei from Amazon, maybe 6 years ago. No joke. And it tells the time and it does my steps. And this has got me through wedding prep, photo shoot prep, hen do prep, photo shoot prep, pregnancy. It's done the job. Okay, you don't need a fancy watch, and watches that tell you, even if they're like super expensive, unless you're in a clinical setting with your heart rate being monitored, oxygen levels being monitored, that's when you're going to get accurate calorie burn information. And if you're not doing that, it ain't accurate. Stop it. And number one common mistake, having your watch connected up to MyFitnessPal. Let's say you've put yourself on 1,500 calories as a deficit, but your watch is telling you you're burning 200-300 calories on the cross trainer every day and adding that on. that's why you're up shit creek. So disconnect your watch. Numero uno. Numero dos. Stop looking at your watch for calories burned. It's bollocks. It doesn't work, okay? So, moving on from that then. Obviously, I've lost my train of bloody thought now. Where are we at? Calorie deficit, cardio, benefits, disconnecting our watch. Guys, I'm rolling. I'm not starting this again. Okay, so why is my brain not working? Endorphins. God, sorry if everyone just fast forwarded that then or didn't. Endorphins. So we get that endorphins of finishing the class, okay? And we feel like, oh, we deserve the results from it. But what else happens when we do cardio? Well, it heightens our appetite because we feel like we've done this big workout, okay? When we've done this big workout, we've put all this effort in, your body needs refueling, okay? It is going to signal, excuse me, we've just spent loads of energy, we've just supported you for this, can you feed us, please? Okay? Because we've had this big rush, this big drop, now I need that refuel. So this is where cardio can start to hinder fat loss progress, okay? Is that we're getting this urge to eat and refuel after. Running being the primary form of exercise that increases your appetite because it's so taxing. I literally say to all of my clients, when they say, oh, I think I should do more cardio, I'm like, no, you can fucking barely stick to your calories and you want to put more cardio in, It's only going to increase your appetite. Or running, should I go for a run? Should I start running? Running is honestly, again, a wonderful form of exercise. Great performance goal, great fitness goal. Terrible if you're trying to lose fat and you take up running. Okay, I really want to be careful with my words here because I feel like I'm really going in and I don't want anyone to, don't be getting selective hearing off this podcast and thinking, oh, Em said don't run. Okay, that's not my point. My point is if you're trying to lose weight, running is it's gonna increase your appetite because it's so taxing. You need fuel to run. For example, shout out to one of my clients at the moment. She is doing the London Marathon next year. Okay, it's a great example. She's doing the London Marathon next year. She signs up with me for fat loss. I will not coach her simultaneously to do fat loss and the London Marathon. I would be a bad coach if I did that because running the London Marathon, she's going to need fuel into her body. Okay, she's going to need fuel to run. She's going to need fuel to recover. So what we've decided is we are going to fat loss, lower calorie, focus on conditioning, core strength, all of that up until she starts her marathon training in a few months. And then we are no longer being on a fat loss journey. We are going to manage her calories to support her running. Okay. Because again, like I said, you trying to drop weight via running, you're really going to set yourself up for failure, possibly injury. You're not going to enjoy it because you're going to be low energy. Remember what a calorie deficit is? It's putting our bodies through less calories than we're used to consuming. It can be tiring. We can feel energy levels deplete. Why are we then trying to do one of the most taxing exercises on earth alongside that? Okay, it doesn't compute, does it? Doesn't add up. So there we go. We've just pissed on running for fat loss. It ain't the best thing to do. But what I will say as a caveat, because I always like to give both sides, if you are doing a calorie deficit and you're doing your strength training and you enjoy running and you're like, do you know what though, I just want to run a little bit, 2 runs a week or something, maybe up to a 5k, that is not going to be incredibly taxing that you are going to then overeat from it. That is utilizing cardio as possibly a fat loss tool, which we'll get into in a minute, but that is utilizing cardio for the other benefits. It's great to be able to run. It's a really good sign of overall fitness if you can run. Something I've struggled with being later in pregnancies, having to stop running at 6 months and just well uncomfortable, risk versus reward and all that. I am so looking forward to next year, hopefully being able to run a 10k and train for that 10k and run, because for me, having that feeling of running and that fitness of running that feels really good for me. It's got nothing to do with the fat loss goal, you know? And in fact, I'll tell you this from an honest point of view. Last year, I was prepping for my honeymoon and I'd signed up to a 10K with my clients at the same time. And I was half cursing myself because I knew when I'd finished my longer runs that I was going to be really hungry. And that's not great for fat loss. Anyway, so there we go. So that's why running isn't the best, form for isn't the best for fat loss. And I know a lot of people do talk about, I want to lose weight, so I'm going to sign up to a half marathon. We've just covered that. So what can we do instead? Well, walking is the best form for fat loss because we don't have that taxing feeling after going for a walk. You don't come in for a walk and you're like, woo, fucking really worked up an appetite on that walk, you know? You come in and, how many people feel like getting steps in is inconvenient because you don't get that massive rush. You don't get that massive high from it. It's just a bit like, oh, I've got to go and walk for half an hour. Blah. You know? I know that because I know that a lot of my clients think like that. But honestly, you are still burning calories walking, but you are not putting yourself in that state of, I need to refuel afterwards. You're not going to get that bounce back of that hunger hormone being spiked because you've put this insane amount of effort in, like we do if we're spinning, like we do if we're running or circuit training or some, body weight training, HIIT training. That aftermath of that surge of I'm starving is why it can actually hinder fat loss results. Whereas walking, cross training, Stairmaster, slow, steady, not having this huge heart rate spike, all great for fat loss tool. We're going to get to that in a minute. I feel like I need to hurry up and get should we touch on that now, the fat loss tool thing? Because I feel like, come on and get with it. Right, so I've spoke about, I've just touched on then about cross training, steady state. So doing an exercise for a long amount of time. The reason where that comes into play when it comes to fat loss is calorie expenditure. Is that if you are doing your food, tracking your food, right? You're doing your weight training, you're getting your sleep in, you're drinking your water, you're managing your stress, you're doing all of your steps, like you're getting all of that in. You can then use cardio as an extra calorie burning tool. That's it. That's all it's there for when it comes to fat loss. And it's in that order. Get your food in order. Get your steps done. Get your weights done. Manage your stress. Go to bed. Drink your water. And then, if you're needing that extra and you know, all of that stuff put together is the perfect formula for fat loss, then you're adding cardio. And this is how I coach. It's exactly what I do with my clients. Everybody, when they sign up with me, we talk about obviously different goals. But let's say someone does have a fat loss goal. I will normally say to them, like, this is the priority of what we're going to do things in. You know, we're going to do food, we're going to do daily habits, steps, your weight training. And then I give them the option. I say, look, cardio is really good for us because it's looking after our heart and lungs. We're just going to do 1 to 2 sessions a week. Do you want to do a class? What do you want to do? What do you enjoy doing? Do you enjoy running? Do you enjoy cycling, swimming, anything? Because cardio doesn't matter what you do. There is no best form of cardio for fat loss because all it is whatever we're doing is just creating a bigger calorie deficit. That's it. So if you love Zumba, go and do Zumba. That's fine. If you love, what else is a random thing? Rock climbing? Is it rock climbing? If you get your heart rate up, yeah. If you love rock climbing, go and do rock climbing. Class that as your cardio. Do it if your heart rate gets up. I mean, it did when I did it. Anyway, that's my point. Is it can be whatever you want. If your heart and lungs are working, you're doing cardio. That's okay. That's enough. Okay. So when it comes to fat loss, the reason, in a nutshell, that cardio doesn't work for fat loss is because when we're like killing ourselves and getting that heart rate up and, you know, yes, we're creating a calorie deficit, but what follows on from creating that calorie deficit is your body signaling, we're hungry. We want to eat more, because we want to refuel. Whereas if you compare different types of exercises, weight training, okay, yes, it's effort. Yes, your heart rate's going to come up, but it's not going to be to the point as where you push yourself when you're doing like extreme cardio, okay? Also, multiple different reasons why weight training is better for fat loss. We're building lean muscle tissue, the repair time afterwards, the shape change that comes with it, all of that positive stuff that comes from weight training absolutely helps with fat loss as well. So for me, that's why I like that training better. But when it comes to cardio and it's just being aware that when your heart rate is super high and you're sweating your tits off and you're feeling out of breath, that is signaling that you are improving fitness, but it's not signaling that you are going to be in this massive calorie deficit unless you're tracking your food as well, But still then, there's better forms of training that we can do for longevity of results. Okay. The last thing I want to touch on, because this might come up, or maybe you've heard of it, maybe not, is people when they talk about training in the fat burning zone. I need to get my heart rate in fat burn zone. Again, hopefully by now you're going to get the gist of where this is going. No, you don't. All fat burn zone is, and working in your cardio zone, is basically just explaining where your heart rate is and how far you're pushing your heart rate. So it basically, you've got your fat burning zone. So this is where your body will use stored fat as energy. Okay, but I really want to touch on this, but I don't want you to get selective hearing from it. If your body is burning fat in your fat burning zone, right, versus, let's say your body burns 200 calories fat burning in your fat burning zone, but then you work in your aerobic zone where you really push yourself. So your fat burning zone would be like 30 minutes on the Stairmaster, slow, steady, can talk, working about a 6 or 7 out of 10, versus 30 minutes circuit training. Okay, you're on, you're off, you're peaking, you're troughing your heart rate, and you burn 200 calories doing that as well. That's going to be working your aerobic zone. Stairmaster going to be working your fat burning zone. You're burning 200 calories. That's all you need to worry about. Okay, there's going to be a very minimal difference of 200 calories from fat burning, 200 calories from aerobic. There have been studies that show that so just to explain, in your aerobic zone, your body's using glycogen, so from food, carbohydrates, fat burning zone, your body's using stored fat. Here's the thing that you need to know. There has been studies that show when you train in your fat burning zone, that then reduces your body tapping into fat stores for the rest of the day, compared to when you're using glycogen stores for cardio. When you're doing that high intensity cardio, your body will then burn more fat for the rest of the day. It makes no fucking odds, okay? So again, getting hung up on being in the fat burning zone or the aerobic zone is going to do nothing for your fat loss results, because it makes no odds. Okay, 200 calories is just an extra 200 calorie deficit, and that's what you need to focus on. The one thing that I would say about steady state, which we've covered in the whole of this episode, steady state versus high intensity training, is that with steady state training, which is going to be your 30 minutes slow on the Stairmaster, your 30 minutes on the cross trainer, having a conversation, just ticking over, that isn't going to give you, okay, one, it won't give you the massive endorphin rush that the 30-minute circuit training will, but also it's not going to give you the big bite back of, I'm hungry, I need refueling, that was such a mammoth session, that you are going to get with the HIIT training. So again, from fat loss, yes, working in your fat burning zone is probably going to be better, because it's going to have you more adherent to your food, not because you're working in your fat burning zone. Okay, right. That's covered heart rate zones. The last thing I want to cover is your watches. We're going back to the watches, okay? As I said before, your watch should do two things. One, tell the time. Two, step count, okay? when you are using cardio as a fat loss tool, which now you know comes quite low down on the list when it comes to how we want to be using it for fat loss, please, if we think of the fat loss hierarchy of, you know, food and steps, let's say your step goal is 10k per day, okay, but you know that getting on the bike for 20 minutes racks up 4,000 steps on your watch. You're not using cardio for fat loss, you're just contributing to your step count. Okay? When you do cardio for fat loss and you're using it as a tool, as an extra calorie burn, take your fucking watch off. Because if you are telling me, this one's for the clients, if you are telling me, yes, I did an extra 20 minutes of cardio on the Stairmaster, I did my 10k steps every day, you best believe I am going to be like, whoa, whoa, whoa. So you did 20 minutes extra cardio, but you still did 10k steps in a day. Yeah, that's because you left your watch on. So all you've done is done steps on the Stairmaster. When you are using cardio as an extra fat loss tool, make sure it is not tagging part of your steps. Make sure it's extra. So you should be saying, I have done my calorie deficit. I've done my 10k steps. I have drank my 3 litres of water, had a really good sleep, kept my stress levels down, and took my watch off and did 20 minutes extra cardio. Boom. That is how we use cardio for fat loss. Okay, so I hope, because I've been very tired doing this, I hope that this has given you some food for thought when it comes to cardio for fat loss. I hope you now understand why using cardio to drive our fat loss, to prioritize our fat loss, isn't going to be the most successful way to do it. Because of like I said, with the bite back, the hunger hormone, the eating, the refuel, you know, the best way to achieve fat loss, get your food sorted, okay? Get your weight training done, get your steps done. You can achieve amazing fat loss results with that. Then maybe a couple of times a week, do your cardio for your health, for your fitness, your mental health, your cardiovascular system. But that's what it's there for, and that's where its place should be. All right, guys, I hope you found this beneficial. Please let me know over on Instagram @_em.powered if you did. If at some point I've really got a feeling that halfway through this podcast, you know, when I was talking about the watches and I really lost my train of thought, I really hope that wasn't like me jumping off a cliff movement and ruining it for you. If it was, I'm sorry. Message me any questions. All right, look at me, getting ready and everything, tired. Guys, love ya. See you next time. Anyone wants me to any recommendations of podcasts, you would know what to do. Just drop me a message. And yeah, can't wait to hear off ya. Love you, bye.